Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the 17th week of our algorithmic programming course in the programming language of Python, where every single week we are tackling a new problem. Slowly now starting to develop our own personal confidence and working through these programming problems. We started out working together, had a bunch of fun with those problems, and now starting to develop sort of our own toolkit to start tackling these problems. So as always, thank you so much for coming out here today to the 17th week. And let's get on started with the usual thing to get started off with. You guys already know, Quote Wars. My name is Ryan, guys, senior at Cohen in high school, and today's meme is this: when your program is a complete mess, but it does its job. So in this situation, our final job is to get something to fly. Now, whether that be a helicopter or a bird, the way we get to it doesn't really matter. And that's sort of the thing, right, with programming, is the goal is to get the final output and make sure that your program can do something. And the way you get there, sometimes it might not matter, but you probably, in reality, we learned that in programming, the most efficient method of doing something is super important. But this is a little funny meme right here showing that if you can get the job done, get it done and make sure that it works.
All right. Oh, no. It looks like, hold up.
Did not update?
Yeah, no, it didn't update. Can you? Drum roll, please. All right, so the meme that I did is the floor is Java. So the saying that we know, the floor is lava, where you try to get off the floor as soon as possible. It's a game that we play with our friends, but in this case, the floor is Java. It's every programmer's, or not most programmers' nightmare to work in Java for some reason, which it's not mine, but it just depicts how much some people dislike Java, that they are not wanting to touch it at all, just like floor is lava. Okay, we got one vote for Rayan.
You guys might be wondering why, is Java not that preferred? It's similar, like a programming language, but it's very specific. You guys will probably notice there's a lot more things we got to look out for, which we already don't. So
Labdi would have won if she had used that last meme.
Oh man.
Last week. Well, we got Amelia going for Labdi, Amelia with A going for me, and Chase with me. Well, awesome. Now let's move on from these Cold Wars to what we're going to continue on doing today. That being, guys, a quick reminder that we're going to be wrapping up this month of May with these programs of algorithmic programming, the project development this Wednesday. We're going to continue to work on our population simulation, and then video gaming hour, which will be happening for the last time in the school year, essentially, next Friday. Not this Friday, but the following Friday. And then in the next week, we should have our summer programs ready for you guys to check out and sign up for. Those will be coming out soon as well.
And for today, we will continue what we tried out last time, but a little bit of an aid. Basically, we're going to have an independent problem workday where we'll give you the problem. It's not a difficult problem. It's something definitely doable by all of you because you've been coming for in algorithmic programming for many weeks. So by giving you the problem, we'll also give you a template. So a bunch of code will be already on the replit, and all you have to do is copy and paste that code into your own replit and try to fill in the blanks and fill in lines where there are comments that tell you what to do. And if you guys have any questions in that process, we are here to help. So don't worry to ask any questions that you have.
Exactly. So talking about that problem, which we'll provide a template for today, what is the actual problem? Well, here it is. Today's problem is going to be to find the maximum number given three numbers in a function. So say we have three numbers right here. We got 12,324, we got 67,323, and then 5,673. Now, quickly, who can tell me what's the maximum number, meaning the number with the greatest value right here?
Oh, one in the middle. Oh, I always thought that they were all like separate numbers.
Yep, there are three separate numbers, and Chase, like you said, the one in the middle is the greatest value, which is why our function should eventually return that. So the goal today in the problem we're going to be coding is we're going to have three numbers, and our goal is to be able to use our programming skills and certain things, which we'll talk about in a little bit, in order to make this program where we're gonna find the maximum number. So the idea is pretty simple, and let's talk about what we're gonna need to make this happen.
All right, so the first thing is variables again, because we will need to store the max number throughout the function. Basically, the function will have a max number that starts off as a really small number, and you compare that max number with all three values. And if the comparison gives you that the value is greater than the max, the value of the max changes, else nothing happens. So I just gave a really brief precursor to what the code will be, but this is where variables will come in play.
Exactly, and along with variables, something which is gonna be super important today is gonna be conditionals. The reason why is we're gonna be doing a bunch of comparisons. Say we have three numbers, 4, 5, and 6, right? We're gonna have to check which number is greater than the other number. And the way we do that is by using an if-else statement along with a greater than sign to check if this number is greater than the other number. And once you've done that, you guys will see in the template as well, you have to assign that the maximum number is the number we were just comparing. So say we have a number like 5, is 5 greater than 4, and that would tell us that we have to make the maximum number 5 in that case. So remember today, conditionals, if-else statements will be super important.
And guys, make sure that you guys are paying attention right now. It's not like we're not gonna tell you, help you later on, but if you pay attention right now, coding in the next 5, 6 minutes or 15 minutes, it'll be way easier for you guys. So, and then the last thing is functions. Now I'll just type in the syntax for that really quick. All right, so for functions, we first have to create or define a function. And for that, it's just def. Let me type it. All right, so def function. So func is the name that I named my function. This is how you define a function. And this function basically prints an empty line. And if I want to call this function, I just type in the name of that function and then parentheses. Now, there are also parameters. Parameters basically act like variables you put inside that function, you use in that function, and that's it. And then also there will be return. So let me just write that. Actually, I will show that to you guys in the replit so we know that syntax. It'll be hard to annotate that on slides and then tell you guys how that will run.
Let's see how it goes.
Alrighty, well, now with all that out of the way, we're going to do a quick little example on a whiteboard to understand the conditional logic which you guys will need for today. And then we're going to start coding with the template we have prepared for you.
Yep. All right, I got it right.
All right.
Cool, so let's start with our three numbers. Let's say num1, num2, and num3. These are the three numbers that we pass into our function. And basically we want to see which number out of these three is the greatest. What do we start with? Basically, inside that function, I'll just make a cool def get max. All right. Inside that function, what happens is you start by setting the max. This is where the variable comes in. Max 3. Now I'm not gonna be typing every single line of code, but just gonna tell you guys what it would look like on the replit. So we start off with the max of the 3 as equal to 0, and then what happens is inside this function. Let me draw. Okay, inside this function, we make a bunch of, or we write a conditional. This is where a conditional comes in. Conditional. And inside that conditional, let me draw that. All right, inside that conditional, make it red. All right, cool. Inside the conditional, we check if this max 3 is great, or if this num1 is greater than max 3, num2 is greater than max 3, or if num3 is greater than max 3. And suppose if that num is greater than the max value we already have, then what do we do? What do you guys think we should do? if that number is greater than the max number we already have. Come on, there are no answers. There are no wrong answers if you try.
So you can't go above 4. So then is it?
Well, so Chase, I think you have an idea. So we already have our max 3, right? That variable is responsible for holding the greatest value. Initially, Labdi, we got written down, we're saying that the maximum value is 0. But in the conditional, which we got highlighted right there, we're saying if we are able to find a number which is greater than the number we initially thought was the greatest, what would be a logical thing to do? What should we do with the max variable since we found a new number which is bigger? Okay, well, let's put in an analogy. Okay, so say I got a favorite candy, right? My favorite candy is Hershey's chocolate. Now, when anybody asks me beforehand, before today, I would always say my favorite chocolate is Hershey's chocolate. But today, this morning, I found that I tried some Sour Patch, and Sour Patch is now my favorite candy. Now, whenever somebody asks me what's my favorite candy, what am I going to say?
Sour Patch?
Exactly. And the reason is because I set my favorite candy to be Sour Patch. In a programming sense, meaning, does that give any hints? I'm setting my favorite candy to be something else now. So what?
Basically, you're changing the depth of it, or the max.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Avnish.
Avnish.
I was in another event. So what did you guys get a start on today? Like, what's the thing you're doing?
We are continuing trying to show you guys how to work independently on a problem. So in about like three minutes ish, we'll kind of dive into coding on our own. And why don't we catch
Sorry,
you
I
up
can't
with that?
code today because I'm on the iPad.
Let's talk later after we finish this whiteboard, because I may have a solution for that. So yeah, Ryan, what were you saying?
Yeah, so Chase, you just said, right? So similar to the candy example, I set my favorite candy to be Sour Patch, right? And you were saying we would similarly do what here in the function?
Like it changes the max, I'm guessing, right?
Exactly.
This is the key line where you change the value of the max to that number. So now the maximum number that we know is none. Now, again, we're going to basically have to do this conditional 3 times. We check the first number, we're going to check the second number, and then we're going to check the third number. Pretty easy, right? Do we have any questions?
Yeah. Are we actually going to be coding like coding on our own? Because I don't really know that much.
Yeah. You're gonna basically write like 3 lines of code, but you'll have to understand it. Are you on your iPad right now? Like Avnish?
No, I'm on a Chromebook.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am, Labdi.
Okay. Then how about do this? Do you guys have access to Replit?
I can't technically use Google accounts on my iPad, so I don't know.
Okay, then how about I can just go, I'll put in the link to the Replit with the template in the chat. All right.
Okay.
And let me share my screen. All right, cool. Actually, it looks like we got 2 new people. So how about I'll just repeat the question just once more so that Avnish and Ayush know it, and it doesn't hurt for Amelia, the 2 Amelias, Chase, and Drake. Okay, cool. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to review, today's problem is find the maximum number from 3 numbers being inputted. Now we're going to be using functions, conditionals, variables, and that's about it. So here, it's a pretty simple problem where you're given 3 numbers and you just want to return what the greatest number is. And what I posted, let me stop sharing and then share the Replit. All right, what I posted in the chat is a link to a template of what you'll be using. And basically what these comments say, you have to write the code for that. For example, here you got to initialize a variable named max3 and set it to the smallest number possible. Now, who here has a computer? Or like
I do.
somewhere they can type it.
I do.
Okay, Chase. Anyone else?
Me.
Amelia. Okay, how about
Me too.
let's do this.
I don't know if you can hear. Yeah.
Sorry, did I miss? I think it's me. Is it just me or was Amelia?
Turn it off a bit, Amelia. Can you repeat that?
Huh?
What did you just say?
What?
Okay. Did you say anything?
Yeah, I just said I had a Chromebook. I don't know if that counts as a computer.
Okay, no problem. Actually, in fact, this time let's just change plans a little bit. I won't be coding. We won't be coding, but I'll just type in whatever you guys tell me to. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, cool.
And then for the coming weeks, guys, if you can, please try to, if you have a separate device available with parent or guardian, that would be helpful so we can start doing this more ourselves. But today, let's go. Let's start throwing some variable names. I love these. Let's start typing.
Yep. Okay, so what do I type over here?
I know last time you remember you set up a variable, then you did an underscore, and then you put in a underscore, and then you put parameters in a parentheses. Is that going to set up like this?
So this is just a function. Remember, okay. Remember, we're defining a function over here. It's not a class. And these comments basically tell you what to do, but they are in English and we want to code in Python. So who can tell me what to do in Python?
So we initially, in the whiteboard, we were looking at, we set our maximum variable equal to a value. Anybody remember what that is?
We want to set it to a very small number. It can be any number, but it has to be really small.
You do like max, the variable max of 3 is equal to negative 1 billion or something as a
We can do that.
smallest number.
Oh, I was gonna say 10 because I thought 1 billion would be way too long.
Let's start with 10, and then if it works, then we can go ahead and move it back to 1 billion. How's that?
Okay.
All right, so over here, I have 3 conditionals ready, but we have to replace these brackets with a statement. So if something is true, then do something. So what do we want to check 3 times?
Max.
You guys are
Really is
fixing it.
glitchy.
Okay, I thought it was just me, but Chase, what did you say again?
The max.
Okay, max 3. That's our variable number.
If
And what
max 3, maybe you should do like if max 3 is like greater than negative 10.
Negative 10?
Yeah, because that's like the smallest number.
So remember, we assigned max 3 this value of negative 10. Now, once we go on to line 8 and then line 9, will the value of max 3 ever change, or will it stay negative 10? it'll stay -10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so remember, we want to find the maximum of 3 values, right?
Well, okay, let's think about it in a more, if we go more logical, let's not even think about multiple if statements, guys. Say we're checking to see, we have 3 numbers, right? We have A, B, and C. Each of these represents a number. So right here, we're passing in 3 parameters. We got 1 is A, 2 is B, and 3, hello? Okay, all right, 3 is C. My phone's going out. Okay, so 3 is C, right? Now, say we want to check, is A the greatest number we have? So how would we check that? If I want to check, so we're checking.
If A is greater than B plus C.
That's a way to that.
If A is greater than, that was good.
That exactly.
But-
So we have 2 cases we're looking for, Avanish, right here. We got to check to see if this number is greater than the other 2 numbers. What should we do? A is greater than
B.
Yep. So it's that A is greater than B, and then what else? If we want to
B
be
is greater
100%
than C.
sure. Yeah, repeat that, please.
If B is greater than C.
So what was the first word you just said? You said a word with the letter A?
Am I like starting to glitch up or something?
No, you just said the word and. So I was like, you said A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So that's going to be something we'll see in the code.
Yeah. So if A is greater than B and if it's greater than C, right?
Yeah.
That's where we left off. Then what?
Then
Wait,
print
Python
A.
have parentheses in conditionals? It does, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
Then print it.
Print it. So remember, in this already predefined function, we have parameters, and we're going to return our max 3. Max 3 is the maximum of those 3 numbers. So if A is greater than B and C, then what's evident basically? That A is the blank of the 3 numbers.
The max?
Yeah, exactly. So if we know that that A is the max of the 3 numbers, then what code do we have to put in here? Hint, hint. Insert assignment here. We have to assign something.
We have to assign the max to it.
Rather, the other way. We have to assign the value of A to max 3. Right?
Okay.
So we're gonna say, actually, you guys tell me. What am I supposed to type here?
Amelia in the chat with Amelia with an A. Yep.
Let me check. Oh, cool. Yeah, perfect. Amelia said, my tabs are really beautiful. And I think that's good. Okay, Amelia said what?
Max 3 is greater than A. Max 3 is equal to A.
Yes, perfect. Max 3 is equal to A. So we assigned the value of A to max 3. That's it. Now, what happens if that's not the case? Then we're going to use something really cool, Alif.
Oh yeah, Alif.
Who wants to tell me what Alif will do?
Alif means like if what you wrote is not like you won't have all the possibilities like so it doesn't happen. Alif is basically like else on that if like another possibility, if it's like you already did one number and now there's like 3 possibilities, right?
Yeah. So what's the next possibility we want to check?
B is greater than C and it's less than A.
Sorry, repeat that.
B is greater than C and it's less than A.
B is greater than C and what was the second part you said?
It's less than A.
So why would you say if it's less than A?
Because you already put A for the first one.
So remember, the first one we're checking if A is the max or not. And how do we check if A is the max? If A is greater than B and C, right? Now, if the code goes through this conditional and it's not true, then we know that A is not greater than B and C. Now we have to move on to B. And you were right, Avnish. We started with if B is greater than C. But what else do we need to compare? If B is also greater than
A.
Yeah, and guys, everyone else
A.
can also participate. I'm not monitoring the chat. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay.
And then after that, you would do max 3 is equal to B.
B. And then, and now this is a trick question for you guys. Let me delete this. After this Alif, can I put in else and do something, or do I still need an Alif? And of course, the last Alif will be comparing C with A and B. So basically what I'm asking is, do I need an Alif with a statement comparing to, or can I just say, if these two are false, then automatically our third number will be the max? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yep, Amelia in the chat saying you
Okay.
don't need a statement as well. Yep.
Cool. Does anyone disagree? Okay, cool. So let us try that.
To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
Okay, sorry, that's my Google Home Mini that I haven't set up yet. So let's set max 3 to our last value, which is C. And let me clean up this. Okay, cool. Now, be ready, because if this works, then I'll ask someone or all of you to explain each line and what they do together. And if it doesn't work, then we'll need to do some debugging together. Oh, it looks like
I don't know which one I don't want to happen more.
it's okay. It's all a learning process. So yeah. If I do run this, it's printing out 3. Now, is that true? Do you think it works?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Now let's try to put in harder numbers. Let's put in this. It's another number. I'm just putting in random jumble. Which number do you guys think is the largest?
The last one.
Yeah. Let's see if the computer knows that too. Cool, it does. So, yay, clap, clap, our code works. Now, I want you guys to work together. Actually, working together will be great. Basically explain this line by line. And it shouldn't be hard because we just wrote it together. And you guys know what this does. You just have to put it in English words instead of Python syntax. So what's the first line?
Avanish, go.
No, it's not just Avanish, it's
Yeah.
all of us.
We'll go down
Chase,
on Zoom.
really?
We'll start with Emilia's number 1 on mine. Emilia with an E. Line number 4. A quick 10-second brief. What is that for?
I think it means to like make a variable. I kind of forgot, sorry.
It's okay, you were close on making or like defining something, but instead of a variable, we're defining a, can anyone fill in?
A max,
No.
a string,
Parameter.
Mm-mm.
Starts with an F. We're line number 4. We're defining
a function,
Function.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, whenever we say def, we're always going to be defining a function. Now,
That's
here's
why
the-
whenever I put def, and then I put like anything after it, like a word, a jumbled word, and then I put a parenthesis after it, it immediately turns purple because then it just creates a function.
Yeah, that's also a really good point where if it's purple, then it's a function. Remember, print is also technically a function. It prints out whatever you want to on the console. That's why it's also purple. So that's a really good point, Avanish. We'll definitely keep that in mind. All right, that was line 4. What about the next line, line 6?
I can explain it.
Go ahead.
So line 6 basically sets up like the least amount whenever you input like the number. It's like for the computer to analyze, like that's the least number you can go when you input your data.
Mm-hmm. Good. And why do we need to put in the least number and not a big number?
Because if we put a big, like a really jumble of big number, because
Here, how about I'll put it in a big number and let's see what happens. 1, 2, let's change this to 13 and 14. Let's put, what's a big number? 123.
oh, because then like all the data doesn't fit like inside it because that's to be like greater.
Exactly. So in other words, it's going to go through these if and else statements and it's going to say, no, neither of these 3 numbers are greater than the already max 3. And it's going to spit out this number, which wasn't even part of the numbers that we put in. Do we understand that?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's do line 8. Someone other than Amelia and Avanish. Oh yeah, Amelia with an A respond. If the first value is greater than the second and the third, then that is the maximum number of 3. Great. That's perfect actually. You basically put these Python words into English words. If A is greater than B and C, so if the first number is greater than the second and the third, then we replace our maximum value with A. Now, these other 2 statements or assignments are similar. Anyone want to tackle those 2? Someone other than Avnish, Amelia, and Amelia.
So Amelia helped us with line number 8, telling us how we're finding if for the variable A is the greatest number. Is line 11 and 13 doing similar things? Anybody want to clarify?
Yeah, but it's like almost backwards.
How?
Like B and C were like A and B were being defined on number 8, and now it's backwards on line 11, where B and A are still, but B took the place of A.
I see where you're getting at. So in other words, another way to differentiate these 2 if statements is that here, what are we comparing? What's the one number that we want to see if it's the max or not?
A.
Yeah, A, perfect. Then what about in the second if else statement? What's the number that we are comparing?
B.
B, exactly. And similarly, in the last else statement, basically, we don't need to compare, but what's the number we're going to be assigning?
C.
Exactly. So that's the one difference between these 3 statements, that instead of comparing just A, we're going to be comparing B and finally C, but C we don't have to compare because it basically, if these 2 aren't the max, then the third number has to be the max.
Simple logic.
Yeah. Now, that was till line number 15. Now we have 2 more lines. Who wants to tackle line number 17? It's only 2 words.
I'm sure everyone knows what line 20 means.
Yeah.
But it's okay. The more you explain it, the better you know how to code and the syntax.
Oh yeah, can you put like the link in the chat because I didn't get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think cause I joined like really late.
No problem. So, who hasn't tried or spoken yet? I can't see participants for some reason.
Line 17. How about
If no one's gonna give it a go, I think maybe return max 3 like returns like it returns like the inputs you do, then it shows on the console.
Anyone else have any other ideas?
What Avanish said.
Okay, we can do better than what Avanish said.
Sorry.
No, but try to put it in your own words.
I think what it does is takes what max 3 is, and it puts it into the big black space. I think it's called the console,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, that is Avanish and was it Amelia speaking?
Yeah, but
Okay,
Amelia with an E.
Okay, cool. Yeah, both of them are on the right track. Basically, this return statement returns a value to wherever this function is being called. Now, putting it into the console is the job of this print statement. Now,
I think I get it now. Like when you said it like returns like when you want to call it. So now like since you literally put that right before the input box, so it's gonna take that in mind, and then it's gonna analyze, and then it's gonna show actually like the correct number, because you just put it right before, like you said, -10, so it has to be less greater than -10.
Yeah, so right now, if I set the value or the value of this variable named value to whatever this function is, I'm actually returning this value to wherever I call this function. So basically, the value of this function is max 3. But I can't say max 3 because max 3 only exists inside this function. So I'll have to call this function. Okay, I'll have to call this function with the parameters and then set it equal to that value, and basically print that value out to be able to see the result in the console. Did everyone get that?
So guys, think of line 17, the return, as being returns are something like a function is going to spit a value back to us. And in order to hold that value, we got to hold it inside of something, aka a variable, like Lobby's doing in line 19.
Yep. All right. So that was the code for today. I felt really good about this since all of us worked together to not only write the code, but also explain it. How did you guys feel today?
Your internet connection is unstable now.
Anyone?
Sure. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, we got a pretty good and more confident with coding from Amelia. Yay, that's actually one of our goals.
Yep.
Yeah, and then a thumbs up from Avanish and a yes from Chase. Sounds good. Then we'll probably be doing more of this from next time.
Excuse me, I put a rep link in the chat, and it says error, and I kind of don't know what's going on.
Okay.
We'll take a look after we just wrap this up, Amelia. But that's good to see that we are building up that confidence, and hopefully as we approach the ends of May, more of that confidence is there, boosting that confidence level. And if you guys like this format, we can definitely start doing this more, or if you guys don't want to just do by yourself, you guys tell us what to put, but definitely building our own skill set as the weeks go on. Remember guys, this Wednesday we got product development, continue working on our population simulation, and then we just have a 2-program week, 2 programs this week. Other than that, guys, enjoy the weather, and we'll catch you guys Wednesday. See you guys.
See ya.